we're still prepping here. Let me fix this screen. Got a privacy screen there and I can't see nothing. Gonna give it a few minutes for everybody to come in live here. 2026. I like this little setup. Thank you for everybody tuning in thus far. YouTube and TikTok. It is today versus tomorrow. It is 9 p.m. Wednesday, hump day, middle of the week, first Wednesday of the year. We're gonna give it a few more minutes that some people get in here. Thank y'all for tuning in. If it's your first time, welcome in. Hang out with us on Wednesdays, 9 o'clock, for as long as God allows. If you are returning, I thank you for coming back. This is week 19 out of 21. You know what I mean? So I'm a number person. If you don't know me yet, those things are always going to be shout out, you know, here and there. So let's give it a few minutes, you guys. As live goes always, you can share the live. You can double tap the screen if you're watching on TikTok. If you're watching on YouTube, share it as well. We're messing with some lights and stuff here. You know what I mean? We're keeping it fun, creative. It's a learning experience for us every single time. For both of us, we're interacting. And I'm excited. So like I said, we're 2 minutes in. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes. Share it out. Like, double tap the screen. Like I said, we're learning. We're learning the TikTok game. We're learning the YouTube game. We've got some announcements. We've got some statistics. I was looking for the word. It didn't come to me at the moment. You know what I mean? So we're gonna be having some really dope conversations. Give it a few minutes. If you haven't yet, for whatever reason, if you're watching this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like, follow, share it out. We're gonna give it a few more minutes here. And just so you're prepared, you know, we're talking 2026. It's today versus tomorrow. First Wednesday of the year. We ended the year talking about things we wanted to see grow in 2026, and here we are with our first week into it. So I want to see, what seeds have you planted thus far? What's something that you've done already off of your list that you said you were going to do for 2026? And as always, I'm going to start off, you know, with myself. So, you know, just to introduce myself, if this is your first time, my name is Lady Pun. Yes, correct, Lady Pun, after who you think it is. No relation. I simply do what I love, continuing the name, the culture, the positivity through hip hop. And what it means to be a Puerto Rican rapper from New York. But it's bigger than music, and I've learned that with my platforms, we can talk about some amazing things as we all are healing, we're all growing. Some of us are parents, some of us are artists, entrepreneurs, and we all go through things in life. So, you know, today versus tomorrow is a platform where I can be myself, and so can you. We can heal together, we can grow together. So in 2026, something I've done already to mark off the list, kind of announced it, I believe, on the first day as well, was I got life insurance. You know what I mean? So if you want the details for that information, if you're in Florida, hit me up. I have an amazing woman who's just opened some great doors for me. You know what I mean? So I'm returning the love. Support is free. So I did, you know, I got life insurance. You know, I have 4 children, a parent who was ill, and I'm learning, you know, financial stability and financial freedom. You know what I mean? So that's something I'm always gonna encourage for the people who are living and watching, securing yourself, taking care of yourself, taking care of your foundation for your children in the future, because nobody else is going to do it. You know what I mean? So that's the first one. So what I will say, I did forget to grab my bottle of water as well as my sticky notes. So bear with me 1 second as I turn around here to grab my sticky notes behind me in my office. Okay? Please hold. And as I come back into frame, sound check. Shout outs to Miss Emily Renee Jackson. She is on both lives, if I'm not mistaken. We're on TikTok today. Sound check. We had some issues with the last live where it sounded like I was a little muffled. Might have been of how we had it, you know, angled. So if you are having a hard time hearing me at any point, please just comment and I'm gonna chime in. We're gonna be here probably a little longer today than usual. Again, it's a new year, so something I'm starting. You know, we're gonna get to number 2 for me, but number 1 was life insurance. I crossed that off of the list for 2026. You know what I mean? So get with me if you want that information. Support is free. Life insurance, secure yourself, secure your children. All right. So life insurance was 1. And okay, sound is good. I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you. Thank you, love. Much love to Cavassier. Always I'm gonna shout you out. She's in a whole nother time zone out in the Midwest as well. So I appreciate you always tuning in. We got Bronx in the building, Virginia in the building as always. Emily is only on TikTok today. Hello, Michaela. And I'm gonna bear with me. I'm gonna try my best to interact with this. I'm a one-person army, you know what I mean? So Pennsylvania in the building as well. I see you. Much love. So yeah, number 2 on the board for me. I think I lost my train of thought momentarily, but it came back to me. Life insurance was a big deal. But something I did for 2026 already is I planned my first vacation, right? So I'm gonna write self-love, right? And some people probably like, girl, it's January 7th. Like, what are you talking about? Like, we all just paid bills. We all paid. Absolutely. We all did. We all did. Still paying on a daily basis. However, I am a mother and I have much responsibility. And I've learned that I've got to pace myself out. And every couple of weeks, I make sure that I take care of myself and I detach from all responsibility. I breathe. I align myself with God. I take personal time. I eat by myself. I go outside and I get air. I go wherever I want to go. And I'm going back up north. And it still worked for me. You know what I mean? So yes, I have a trip planned, self-love, because I've been nonstop since, I want to say, Thanksgiving. And if we know holidays were stressful as it is. So self-love. I'm going to always start with what I ended the year with. And that's take care of yourself, because you can't take care of everybody else if you aren't taking care of yourself. So I started off the board. I want you guys and gals, you know what I mean? Take no offense when I say guys, it's just a standard. This is a platform I've made to interact. We're on week 19 and I'm going to keep counting, because it's honestly a big deal for me. It should be a big deal for you if you've been tuning in with me for the past 19 weeks, if you've been here for 9 weeks, 9 days, if this is your first day. Today versus tomorrow was literally something I thought of, put on a notebook, and I just wanted to be able to be myself and speak about things that most people are scared to speak of, and allow a platform where you guys can speak to, speak as well and interact. And as this year progresses, the interaction is going to be more than just commenting. I really would love for some people who are returning, some people who make the time, different time zones, people who are coming in for the first time, we have the option to be able to go live together. And like I said, I'm focusing on growing the platform and the interaction. I would love to have you guys join on to the live, and maybe we can have some one-on-one, moments. And of course, there's pros and cons to doing things like this, but I'm opening up the platform, to be able to truly heal and interact. You know what I mean? Lives are just now becoming the thing. I think Mariah Carey set the tone for like the first live appointment that hit like billions views on TikTok. So I'm just grateful to be doing what I'm doing, and I'm getting more comfortable. So as I get more comfortable, I want you guys to get more comfortable as well. Okay, so I'm gonna go into the comments here and see what some things that you have already completed for 2026, or at least started. Things that you said in 2025, this is what I want to do. What seeds have you planted already? We're here a weekend, so let's talk about it. Let me get into the comments here. And Miss Emily Renee Jackson, the official lady, put on all social media platforms live every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Support is free. Okay, we got here. Why number 2? I can hear you loud and clear. I don't know who that is. Somebody got mad. Right in the building. So we got Virginia, we got Florida, obviously. We got Colorado, Puerto Rico, the Bronx in the building. So we got a couple states in the building here. I love this. So again, let's just reiterate where we're at right now. We're discussing 2026. What are some seeds that you've already planted? What are some things that you've already crossed off of your to-do list for 2026? And I started it off. Life insurance was my first check off of the box. You know what I mean? Secure your foundation, secure your children. And the second was self-love. So I've already booked my first trip of the year. And even though it's still business, it's still tied to what I do, it's still a trip away from home, and I'm able to breathe, I'm able to sleep, I'm able to enjoy some snacks by myself. And I reset and come back to be able to go even harder for the next quarter. You know what I mean? West Virginia, I'm sorry. West Virginia, say hi to your neighbor, Virginia. because you know there's just a line on the map that separates y'all, but if I stood on each side, I'd be still in Virginia somehow. Let's not have this conversation on live, because then you're gonna understand me and my best friends, right? um People's blessings, everybody tuning in. Emily, talk to me, give me one. What's something in 2026 that you've already crossed off of the board? And in self-love, you know what? I'm going to mention something with self-love. I'm going to put self-care. And this is a reminder from Miss Emily Jackson here, who is making sure, you know, her health is tended to. And it's not just her. All is in health. My best friend just reminded me today as well. I need to go see a doctor because it's been a few years since I had my last son. And I'm losing a lot of weight. I've lost 175 pounds in total, obviously, but it's time to see a doctor so I can continue the next steps in what bariatric surgery, you know, comes with. So I'm gonna put that up there. Shout out to her self-care for taking care of herself. She's gone, you know, taking all the doctors, and she's setting the example. I need to go see a doctor. So if you need to go see a doctor, make time for yourself, because you can't take care of anybody else unless you're taking care of yourself. All right. Today versus tomorrow. If this is your first time, make sure you hit that follow, subscribe, like, share button. Support is free. I'm Lady Pun. This is a space where we have fun on Wednesdays, 9 p.m. No edits. This is just, you know, what we do. Let's see. Somebody said bye. Bye. Appreciate it. And to everybody who's watching and not interacting, I appreciate you guys as well. Because at the end of the day, you tuning in and watching for those seconds, minutes, however long it is, it's showing me what I'm talking about is catching attention and what isn't catching attention. So feel free to leave, you know, a comment if you want to send me a message. If you guys have any ideas or topics you would like for me to talk about. 2026, I'm opening the platform for this interaction to really expand. You know, I really have met some amazing people off of the camera. Yes, we interact 9 p.m. for about, you know, 30 minutes to an hour, but that week that we have of no lives, you guys really do interact with me on social media. You guys are getting back to me about, you know, how my music is sounding, how my posts are looking, genuine concern, you know, for my children. So you guys are becoming, or have become, you know, second nature, second family. And for us, you know, I have my best friends who are literally in 2 other states, even though I think it's the same one. But, you know, it allows us to have this space as friends, as mothers, as professionals. Like, man, no matter what's going on in the world, know that if I get on the computer or I get on my phone Wednesday at 9 p.m., I can see Destiny, I can see Lady Pun, I can hear mature content, adult conversations, purposeful meanings. You know, we're talking about stuff that gives you drive, that gives you a different mindset. It's gonna have your mind thinking like, what's the difference between today versus tomorrow? If you truly take everything you have today and you want to make it happen tomorrow, just give it intent, give it love, and give it to God. You know what I mean? Bring positive purpose to my life. Please hold. Purging things in my life, my belongings, my friends, and anything that does not. Bring positive purpose to my life. Sorry for my squinting, y'all. Sorry, I got the camera. I got the light up too, so it's making it a little bit more difficult as I go in between both cameras here. So we got bring positive energy. Always, always. I literally live with these words, and you know this. You know this. And real quick, as I look at the board, I wrote this up here, you know, obviously with purpose and for meaning, because if I don't write it down, I will forget. That's the, you know, hence these sticky notes. That's the purpose of today versus tomorrow. Sticky notes, write it down, we never forget. Fruits will bear 2026, okay? Put up there so you can keep reading it. I'm gonna reiterate. Fruits will bear for 2026. So the seeds that you have planted prior, all the hard work that you have put in, they're going to flourish and grow and break through now in 2026. You're going to shine. Continue believing in yourself. Continue keeping God first and do every step with intent. So I wanted to put this up there not only for a reminder for myself, but it's always a reminder for you guys, okay? Your fruit will bear in 2026. Continue doing everything with love. It's going to pay off, okay? Not sure why the brain bleed, you dumb. I can't. I got a flash goal. Thank you for everybody sending love. I'm learning how to do this as well. I completed 2 art projects that will be sent out to. I love this. Cavassier. Complete. Let's do complete personal projects. You know what I mean? Personal or even business projects, I would hope. You know what I mean? Complete personal projects. Something I've learned over time as well. Quality. It's always going to be quality over quantity. You know what I mean? You can sell 1,000 copies of something, but if it's bland and there's no purpose behind it, what's the point of it? I'd rather sell 10 copies of something with full purpose and know that those 10 people are going to appreciate what they're hearing. So Cavassier, that is amazing. Congratulations. Not one, but 2 projects sent to New York. That's amazing. We gotta talk. I'd love to see, you know, what we can come up with. I'm all about it. You know, support is free, the work is not. So let's talk where we normally talk, and I'd love something. We can figure that out. That's amazing. Complete personal projects. You know what I mean? Personal or business projects. If there's something that you've had on the table, and again, you're just thinking about it and it's just an idea, it's an adventure, it's an endeavor, it's something you're like, it's a risk, go for it. Take it. What's the difference between today versus tomorrow? You never know. All right? So we got life insurance, self-love. This is bothering me here. Let me bring this down. I wonder, yeah. Maybe that was me. It was really bothering me. Sorry, guys. This is where like the ADHD takes off sometimes. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm done there. Plan a positive healing girls trip. Lady Pun, Emily, and Raina. Okay. Plan a trip. I think self-love. I'm still gonna put it. Plan a trip. And that's a good statement too, because I've also realized not everybody can just get up and take a trip when they want to. You know what I mean? There are people who have to work very, very hard to be able to take a trip every 2 or 3 years. You know what I'm saying? So plan a trip. It's January 7th. We're only a week into the first week of 2026. You still have 358 days to go. Okay? Plan a trip. Whether it be by yourself, whether it be to see family, whether it be to see one of your friends that you haven't seen in a long time. Plan a trip. Take your time, detach, save. You know, don't be irresponsible, obviously. You know what I mean? But take time for yourself. Plan a trip. I like that one. Like a retreat. Girl, nah. There's a difference. We taking a trip. It's a girls trip. Girls trip and a retreat is... We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. And Cavassier, if send me a picture of what you got sent out too, that would be dope. You know what I mean? Maybe we can do something for today versus tomorrow, or for Lady Pun, either way. Yeah. So before I don't want to switch the topic yet. I have so much that I want to discuss tonight, which is why I said we might run on a little longer than normal. But this is actually a real good topic, because I'm actually thinking of, you know, now that you start completing things off of your checklist, you want to go replacing, you know, those blank spaces. Because now it's like, man, if I had 6 things on the year and I've got 2 things off already, what other 2 things can I replace with the 2 things I've already completed? You know what I mean? So I will send the picture. That's love. Thank you. I'd love to see that. Raina, what's something that you've completed in 2026 already, or have planted the seed to be able to start in 2026? I mean, I feel like I know 1 or 2, but this is not for me to answer. I'm making sure y'all interact. And again, if this is your first time tuning in, this is Today versus Tomorrow. I am Lady Pun. You can tune in every Wednesday at 9 p.m. I am live, going 19 weeks now, until, as long as God allows. And we just speak about purposeful content, you know, things that we want to do in the future. What's the difference between the today versus tomorrow, whether it be personal, business, finance, family. Put God first. You know, I mean, everything with love is done with good intent. I had, oh, hold on. There was a person in here. Shout out to everybody tuning in now. 6 people on YouTube. I like that. Oh, the person's name, I might have taken that out by accident. All right, so, oh man, see, I just pressed something. Swipe left to close. I'm horrible at this, guys. All right, bear with me. Bear with me. So we have self-love, life insurance, plan a trip, bring positive energy, complete personal projects, and self-care. Also understand, I want to try to cut soda out of my diet. So we're gonna cut toxins. I'm just gonna put soda in parentheses. Cut toxins. I like that. Want to try. Keyword try. You know what? It doesn't hurt to try. And if you fail, get up and try again. You know what I mean? Soda's a big deal. Soda's a big deal, especially for people who have... Ooh, I just tongue-tied myself there. Especially for people who have health issues. You know what I mean? So if you're drinking soda, whether it be diet or not, soda is soda. Let's replace that. Get some water with lemon. Seltzer water, I can't even say... I can't say seltzer. I'm not there yet. I'm not that old. I can't do the seltzer. Nope. It just reminds me of my grandma. I can't do that. You know what I mean? She said it's my choice, my drug of choice. I'm dead. Can't even say that on live. I'm learning that there are certain things, like this thing about social media and words, like just saying certain things is real. Like you really can just be blacklisted and shut down for saying certain things. So I'm learning. I'm learning here to be selective with what I read off of the screen. Okay. Now, so with that being said, I'm not necessarily closing the topic. We'll go back in a little bit later on as I reiterate and I go back and ask a couple questions. If anybody wants to add anything to the board for 2026, something that they've already accomplished or planted the seed to accomplish. And if not, you know, understand that that's not a bad thing either. It doesn't mean, you know, wow, it's the first couple of days of the month, like I'm going to jump into things. It might have been a really hard year and you're just still breathing and finally getting a moment to take a break. That's okay too. Not everybody has to be full force. Not everybody, you know, functions at the same speed. So if you haven't necessarily done anything off of the list, that's not a negative thing either. You know what I mean? This is not to put anybody down. This is not to say if you haven't checked anything off the list that you're not doing anything for the year. This is literally just a space where we're discussing some things. And maybe after this live, you'll go and tomorrow you'll do something that you only thought about doing today. You know what I mean? That's really what the purpose of the space is. Just to give the motivation, give the insight, give the positivity that everything is possible through Christ and positivity and love. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I wanted to actually touch base on something I did for the beginning of the year. I planted a seed, okay? So this is today versus tomorrow. We've been live for 19 weeks, but I've been Lady Pun now for several years, and I have been a female rapper for 12 years. I used to go by the name of Lady D. I've got multiple albums. I was 350 pounds. I lived a different lifestyle. Gave up that lifestyle, changed my life around, lost the weight. I have children, obviously. And I've learned that social media has really become a bigger thing than we ever intended it to be. With that being said, 90% of society lives with their faces in their phones. And myself, as much as I hate to include myself into certain numbers, even though I limit when I'm on and how I interact, I'm still on the phone and interacting just as much as the average person. You know what I mean? So my seed for 2026 that I planted was a mixture of a fasting from social media as well as a social experiment, okay? I've had my platforms for over a decade. Especially my YouTube channel. And I noticed traction on certain days with my lives. You know, we go back and we look at the numbers, we look at the insights, and my TikTok does really great on certain days. My YouTube does amazing on certain days. And then we have Facebook and Instagram, which were just like our personal platforms, but because we've had them so long, they're mixed in with business. Everybody gets paid off of social media. Let me rephrase that. There are many people who are getting paid off of social media, who turn on these cameras on a daily basis and their lives are indulged in it. I do not do that. This is a platform I started a couple of weeks ago on Wednesdays to start building my comfortability with being able to do this. I don't know if I could do this every day on a paycheck kind of scale. That's not what I'm here for. I am solely here to build a foundation, to build love, to build character and purpose, to add light to what the name is, Lady Pun. For so many years, you know, I've explained why I've chosen the name and what the purpose is. And this week, social experiment allowed me to see that my vision truly is where it's going. So long story short, what I did was I made my Facebook and my Instagram very, very private, from December 31st to January 6th. Now, nobody knew about this besides the two people who are in, marketing and production. Nobody knew what was going on. So I know most people were going to take it as an emotional decision, and that's not what it was. What we did was all of my music was down from platforms as well. Okay. And my vision for 2026 is to grow my YouTube and TikTok platforms, because I've had my YouTube the longest out of any platforms. And with this project, we just got over 500,000 views with this social experiment. Okay. Me keeping my Facebook, my Instagram private, and only posting my real short and sweets on YouTube and TikTok, only posting my content on YouTube and TikTok, and then sharing just the links to Facebook and Instagram. I literally redirected a decade of traffic to 2 platforms from 5: Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, WhatsApp, everything we use on a personal level. From posting across all these platforms, I redirected everybody to a 2 traffic lane, okay? And it was gonna either sink or swim, okay? And all glory to God. All it did was prove to me that I'm not crazy for thinking how I'm thinking, and I'm gonna stick with it. My YouTube generated over just about 20,000 views within that 7-day time period. Okay. And just about, I'm going to give you the exact number, and I have the proof. When I do the edits, I'm going to get to go back to this. You guys will see you'll see the screenshots of it. Okay. 19,963 views is what my YouTube grew within that 7-day period. Okay. My Facebook numbers went down about 10K. Instagram went down about 4,000 or 5,000. But it looks like I redirected all that traffic and more over to YouTube. So shutting that access down showed me that there's still people who want to hear me, who will go looking for me, who want to know more. So all that to say, Facebook and Instagram is open. It is public again. All of my music is live and back on platforms as of last night. This was a 1-week experiment. I really wanted to see what I could do if I really gave my focus solely to YouTube and TikTok, and it worked. It really did. And it's a personal accomplishment, so maybe that's something I should put up. Complete personal projects. I mean, that was a personal project for me. I really wanted to see if I could direct everybody to just my YouTube, because this is really where I'm growing a love for it. Facebook and Instagram will maintain what they are. They're just not going to be as much traction, because this is where I'm going to be. So with that being said, today versus tomorrow, we go live Wednesdays at 9 p.m. I post my real short and sweets every morning between 7 and 8 o'clock in the morning. So that is your positive spiritual going. My music is available on all platforms. Lady Pun, I am the only one. Enjoy its positivity. You're always going to find the old music. You're always going to find the street stuff. That's still me as well. We've grown, we evolve. All glory to God. You know what I mean? So I wanted to discuss that on here. And I mentioned the numbers. When I go back and I edit this for the week, I'll have those screenshots in there. You know what I mean? So I wanted to just say thank you to everybody who, when I do these things, spur of the moment, randomly, there's no launches. I don't do drops. I don't do 30 days. I'm dropping this. No, I just come out and I decide things and I do it. And I think that being spontaneous, my fans are just as spontaneous. So wherever I go, you guys go. And I think that's amazing. So I thank you for just showing me that no matter what I choose to do, off and on the camera, you guys are really, truly going to follow me. And you appreciate what I do. So Facebook and Instagram are back open. The music is back up. You can download it. And to everybody who is hitting me up, panicking, like, yo, where's Remind Me Who I Am? To my engineer, Ray, he was like, I can't tag the song that I did for you. And it's like our masterpiece. And I'm like, be patient with me. Everything is back up. I thank you. Which takes me into my next portion of the conversation. Is 9:30. Maybe we will make the 10 o'clock cutoff. But if this is your first time, again, please click like, share, double tap the screen. Today versus tomorrow. This is week 19. I'm looking forward to a plethora more for as long as God allows. It's 2026 and we back to the grind. You know what I mean? I will be all over as I always have. You guys know when I drop an album, It's full force mode. You know, I just dropped Archives in October, and it wasn't necessarily a new project, but there is a new song on there with a couple of old projects. But 2026 is all new music. It's all new content. We have so many podcast interviews on the way to answer all the questions you've ever had about Lady Pun. Any questions you may have for me. You know what I mean? These podcasts are really intrigued on the positivity that I'm bringing to the light, being a Puerto Rican, being from Brooklyn originally, you know what I mean? And residing where I'm residing, just knowing that music saves lives. You know what I mean? So I will be in New York, Connecticut as of right now, New Jersey, obviously, Florida. I'm all over, you know, recently. So these next 6 weeks, we got January 18th. I am in both Winter Haven and in Tampa. I have a morning event with the Spanish radio station El Sol. Is a Latin heritage festival in Winter Haven. I'm there from 12 to 2. Then I'll be in Tampa with Babs, brunch with Babs from 3 to 7. Okay. Then we have January 31st, I'm in the Bronx showing love at a birthday party, as well as February 2nd, we have the Big Pun Tribute Cypher. This is the 3rd year. If you've been following me for all these years, you know that I was the first one to show up for the first year and nobody else showed up. So shout outs to Illuminati for keeping his foot on the gas. This is year 3. We've got a venue, we've got news, we've got big name in rap. The Bronx is gonna be on fire. It's rap 101, you know what I mean? So if you're in New York, it is a Monday, 6 p.m. in the Bronx, but if you love hip hop, it don't matter what day, is what we do. So if you want to see me live, we've got Tampa, we've got Winter Haven, we have Orlando in February. We have a women's expo, we have a Talento de Ascenso, you know what I mean? My Puerto Rican guys in Orlando. It's just a lot going on right now. So the next couple of weeks, I'm traveling. I'm in a couple of different states. I have merchandise ready for you guys to go. YouTube is going to be our focus. And I'm looking forward to just growing. You know what I mean? I've announced a couple of things. And when I do my edits, when I go back, you guys will see it throughout the week. I try my best to give you the best parts of when we go live. I try to give you the information. You know, again, this is your first time, today versus tomorrow. And we were just discussing some things that we have already done in 2026, even though we're a week in. You know what I mean? So some of us have accomplished a couple of things. Some of us have planted some seeds. And some of us are going to go from this live and possibly do something tomorrow. You know what I mean? So we'll go over the board real quick before we jump back into the conversation. Self-love was, you know, completion and just started for 2026 for some. Plan a trip for 2026, whether it be family or friend or personal. Complete personal projects, you know what I mean? So anything that you got laying around that you're procrastinating on, complete those, take them off of the list, okay? Bringing positive energy to your life. Be careful who you allow in, and be careful what energy you're giving out as well, because it's always, you know, a two-way street. And then we have cutting toxins out. Soda in this case, but for anybody else, any junk food, anything that we shouldn't be eating, you know, bad habits that we shouldn't be doing, you know what I mean? This is today versus tomorrow, and these are things that we talk about. We ended the year talking about things that we have completed and things that we want to complete, and we're starting off the year by talking about some things we've already completed and some things we want to complete moving forward. So this is just, you know, a space for you to go over your list for 2026. What's on there? Have I completed anything? Have I done anything to start checking that off of the list? You know what I mean? Are your finances in order? Is your heart pure? Are you forgiving? You know what I mean? Forgiveness. All right. 2026. I can put it on the board there as well. I'm going to put forgiveness, because guess what? I came into 2026 forgiving. I could have came into 2026 still bitter at a few people for the things that they did in 2025, late 2025. But when you're with God and you know that your heart is pure, you got to forgive them and allow them to continue to love so that you can continue to love. You know what I mean? So forgiveness. If you still need to forgive somebody, or maybe you need to forgive yourself, you know what I mean? All glory to God, you have that conversation with him. I'm always going to remind you that. With him, everything. Without him, nothing. All right? There was something else that I wanted to discuss, and Emily fill me in. Jose, thank you for your blessings. I appreciate that. Shout out from Philly. All right, we got Philly in the building. That's love. Much love. Shout out to my fam. Much love in Philly. I definitely need a cheesesteak. We was just talking about that the other day. You know what I'm saying? I had a cheesesteak from 7-Eleven. That's how we say it down here. I had a cheesesteak from 7-Eleven today, and it was surprisingly good. But at the same time, I said, you know what it is? I haven't had a Philly cheesesteak from Philly in a couple of years. So I'm gonna say the cheesesteak tasted good because I was hungry and that's what I wanted at the moment. But it definitely wasn't a Philly cheesesteak. Um, so yeah, I'm going to New York in February. I'm gonna have to make a trip to get up to Pennsylvania, because I was just there in September. So I'll be all over again. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, guys. I'm hoping. Let me put this on my board. I'm hoping 2026 that I can make it to Texas this year. Okay, I've been trying to get out to Texas for the past 2 years, with life, life and how it lives. Um, but Texas is on my dream board for the year. Doesn't matter what time of the year I go. That is where I want to go. I have personal family on my dad's side for reasons to go out there. But I want to go to Trill Burgers, especially after finally meeting Bun B in person, having shook his hand and had that conversation with him. I want to go to Trill Burgers and do some content, and eat an amazing burger. I have some amazing friends and followers that live in Houston who have been dying to meet me. So I've got some work with an artist in Houston, and an artist in Arizona. So I will be traveling, getting work done. And ultimately, the goal was always rap, okay? So yes, this is Today versus Tomorrow, a platform that I've created. It's been 19 weeks. We go live. We talk about adult content, no edits, no judgment, having fun. But I'm also a rapper, and that's just what it is. I've been rapping for 12 years. I've been Lady Pun for 7 years. And the purpose is to show the light, the positivity, be the change you wish to see. So the goal for 2026 is really to continue pushing out the positive rap. So you're going to hear a lot more music from me coming up. Just because I am in my purpose, I am aligned. Everything else in life has aligned. So I'm able to create more visually, locked in with my guy Ocho. We locked in as well, you know what I mean? So we have plenty of content, plenty of videos, and plenty of music with a purpose coming, you know what I mean? So enjoy all the music that is back up. Social media is back opening on platforms, but YouTube and TikTok is where I'm at. I will be live more throughout the weekend. Being that we do this on Wednesday, I'm learning what days everybody's kind of chill. We used to do Fridays and Mondays, but it's looking like I'm gonna have to chime in here sometime on a Saturday and Sunday and give you guys just like a personal. I want like a personal interaction where we're not necessarily discussing today versus tomorrow, but we can chime in and talk about how the week went already. You know what I mean? Like, hey, what you doing? You know what I mean? So, oh no, shout out from Philly. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know 7-Eleven was not cutting it. Trust me. It was good, for the moment, but here in Florida, there's not really a lot of cheesesteak spots. There's a lot of Spanish spots. And I could be talking because I don't go outside, so I can't say that there isn't. I don't go outside, and I don't live in an area that's like big city. I live in a very suburban area. I got cows down the street, and if you think I'm lying, I got cows down the street. Wow, it's 9:40. See that? I felt like I've been talking for 20 minutes. It's crazy. Comment what day you would like Lady Pun to do a more personal. Yeah, so what day? That's a good question. Thank you for that, Emily. What's a good day of the week? And again, this is a weird question to ask because we all live in different places. We all have different schedules. Some of us, work nights. Some of us work days. So it's a hard question to ask because everybody, lives different lives. But you know yourself, and when you're on the phones more. You know what your free time is, what your schedule. Oh, my ear. What your scheduling is. What's a good day you think would be for someone to go live, anyone to go live? Like if it was your personal schedule and you're like, okay, this is my free time, what day could I sit there and go live for like 20 minutes and really interact with someone? You know what I mean? I think the problem is not everybody works a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. Most people are working 2 jobs, most people are working 7 days a week. So it really just depends on whatever I'm posting on content that's going to attract people. So for me, it would be like a Sunday evening or it's Sunday evening because Saturday afternoons, we're usually outside, especially if I'm traveling, Sundays. And then Mondays, because Mondays is just a hard day, period. You know what I mean? So Sunday night is like but it's also tiring, which is why I say more of a personal level. So it's like I'd probably be in my bed in my moo like just face up talking to people, you know what I mean? Just to be able to give another lane, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to open up different topics, and maybe Sunday could be like a Sunday reflect, you know what I mean? I post every couple of Sundays, I post like a Sunday reflection, which is like, you know, something that I usually process after church. And I'm like, man, you know, how did this sermon resonate with me today? And that's usually what I do for Sunday reflection. But I post videos on those, which I'll still do. Maybe, I don't know who that is. Somebody's declining to go. Somebody trying to go live. More personal, right? I'm trying to go more personal. So maybe like a Sunday evening, we can do like a Sunday recap. And maybe I'm only in there for a few minutes. Doesn't necessarily have to be something that's like this, you know what I mean? But so I'm looking for an additional day to be able to go live with you guys on a more personal level. Today versus Tomorrow is a platform that we've created for myself to feel safe and speak about certain things that most people are not comfortable with speaking. And it allows you to have a space to be able to hear, to interact, to discuss it if you'd like. And as always, I'm gonna let you guys know, I do understand it's not okay for everybody to interact on the camera. Not everybody is comfortable. So if you ever feel like you want to talk about certain things, my inboxes are open. You can always email me at bookladypun@gmail.com. And, you know, we can get a little bit more personal. More personal with Lady Pun. That was Charlie. That's funny. So yeah, it's 9:42. And it's been an amazing live. I think we got a lot of things covered. And with the edits that go on in the week, you guys will see I'll highlight a couple of things. But as always, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I'm learning, I'm growing. This is week 19 out of 21, and I'm only looking forward to more. So as always, before we leave, you know, if you're new to the platform, you don't know this, but I always end it with a prayer. You don't have to stay for this if you don't like. You don't have to shut your eyes. I don't, because I'm talking to you. But ultimately, we're going to say, you know, we just give our thanks, and that's how we end the live. But before I get there, I want to remind you guys, everything is back up and running. It was a social experiment, 7 days. I redirected traffic, and it worked. We got 20K views on the YouTube. All that to say, it's the beginning of 2026. If you want something, go for it. Don't think about it, because what's the difference between today versus tomorrow? A lot. All right? So take everything you've got on a drawing board and a vision board and make it happen, okay? Now, with that being said, you can bow your heads. I'm not going to close my eyes. I'm talking to you guys, all right? Dear Lord, I thank you for this space, this admiration, this passion that you've lit within me to be a vessel, to be able to speak on my testimony, to be able to speak on how you've healed me, to show others that with you, life is possible. This platform has become a safe space for myself as well as those who join me, where we are allowed to speak on life and we are allowed to speak on you, Lord. And although this may not be comfortable for most people, I do understand that this is comfortable for the people who need to hear it. Okay. So again, I want to thank everybody who tunes in on this live, and Lord, I bless them, and I thank and I pray over themselves and their families that they have a blessed 2026, and everything that they put into the ground flourishes. We thank you for another day of life, and hope that we get another day tomorrow. In the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And with that being said, you guys have a good night. Tomorrow is another day. If you're given the opportunity to open your eyes, give thanks for it, and just make sure you add purpose to your day, add purpose to your life, and keep God first. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. In the morning, you'll see my real short and sweets. And as always, please make sure you like and subscribe. Support is free. Have a good night, y'all.